All right, we're with Storm Large at Dante's, and we're doing DTPDX live. And I just caught the warm up. Good, that was awesome.
Thank you.
And you were off all of January.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's see. I mean, I've been working out and keeping my voice in shape and stuff. And Mike D. God, I love Mike D. Mike D. and Skip Van Kuski. and every now and then I get up and sing with Skip on Sinferno nights and stuff.
Good time.
Just to keep, good time, but just to keep my chops up.
That's cool.
Because the thing with the pandemic, it's made it really, it's so different now to be around people.
That's somebody's birthday.
Oh my God.
It's like being at Chuck E. Cheese all of a sudden. Happy birthday
Day to you.
Singing live on the podcast.
Happy birthday, dear Sarah.
Whoever.
They're awesome.
Oh my God. I can't believe we're having birthday time.
I'm sorry if I have weird sound in my mouth. We were so hungry and we were so late. I just tried to power chow a bunch of rice.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, oh, little rice bits in my mouth.
Little rice bits.
Rice bits.
So have you been you haven't been on the road because of COVID, right?
I have been on the road, but I had January off.
How is being on the road with COVID? I mean, you probably get that question 100 times.
It's well, being a touring musician, like 80% of your time is like 90% is traveling.
Yeah.
And, planes, trains, automobiles, and trying to find the cheapest way to get to the whatever,
Yeah.
And also now we try to avoid being on planes as much as possible, but, sometimes you can't. So what I have found is people are so raw from being locked up, being shut down, and not getting to go out and get their usual sort of shot of humanity, whether love it or leave it. They're just like, and so once they're out, and we've been so out of control and in such a crazy, uncertain environment.
It's been nutty.
So everybody's trying to, like, the people who, there's some just straight up dicks, but there's some people who just, this is my seat. I was in line for coffee, and they're just like petulant, like adolescent kids again.
Yep.
That's because they're just raw. They don't.
Everybody's in kindergarten again.
Well, yeah,
but not maybe as nice.
Yeah, kind of not when you're stuck on a fucking can 30,000 feet up in the air. But it's been a really good exercise in compassion for humans.
Yeah.
And but getting in front of having been off and isolated for a really long time and then going back out, you really viscerally get a boot in your solar plexus over how bad people need to be in the presence of and surrounded by live music and other people.
Just that whole vibe. I mean, when you take that away from your life, if it's a big part of your life, then it's going to impact you very much so. Now, you've been on the road. Where'd you go?
Let's see.
This was this last year, right? This last year.
Oh yeah. Oh, not until like the fall. Like October, November, December. Let's see. New York. We did a lot of Midwest. Did some West Coast, some San Francisco. It's hard to remember. Yeah. I know where I'm going next, but it's hard to remember everything.
And Dante's has been around for 22 years.
22.
Man, that's crazy to think about. 22 years.
First place I ever played was for Bodies, and when I was still living in California, for Bodies and Blackbird, and no, the very first place, Terry Courier got my record and had me play at where Music Millennium was on 23rd.
Oh yeah,
the big old one.
Good times.
First place I played, and then Trace booked me at for Bodies.
Wow. And then the show tonight is sold out, and this is kind of like
homecoming.
Yeah, homecoming
on a Wednesday. I love it so much.
I feel like I'm out on a school night. That's what it feels like. So who's all performing with you tonight? So Eric,
my buddy Eric McFadden, who's just incredible guitar player, great friend of mine. My brother, like it's fun. I've been getting to hang out with him too for a couple days. It's been really great.
Nice.
But Eric is going to play, and then I'm going to get up and do a couple songs with him. My band is going to get up do a few more songs with him, and then there will be like a quick little set break, and we have this fabulous couple, gay guy couple. You know them, Eyes Johnny,
Yes,
Isaiah, and
yes, I do know
Johnny
them.
Norell.
Yeah.
Incredible, sexy, beautiful, incredible. And I was like, I don't care what you do, the stage will be full of stuff, but
Come get your sexy on.
come get your shit on. Because when we did the balls back in the day, every Wednesday, we had either Lucy Fur, we had burlesque, or we had Aziza doing belly dancing, or we had sword swallowing. It was awesome. It was just a whole night of entertainment. So I wanted to have old school kind of thing, but it's just fun, man. It's not where it all started. I had been in bands for like 11, 12 years before I moved here, but
When did you say to yourself, I mean, I know 9/11 happened and everything, but when did you say to yourself, okay, I'm going music all the way? All the way, May. Never looking back.
I was kind of like early on. I was like,
Yeah.
I never really was a money person. I grew up around really rich people. My dad was a teacher and a football coach at a very fancy prep school on the East Coast. So I grew up around a lot of people with money. We didn't have money, but they were miserable fucking assholes. And I thought money made you a bad person for the longest time. And so
it's easy to think that when when they portray their materialistic and their they're like little bullshit clicky pushy stuff.
The people who are the most
Your
fucking
country club
they're the people who are in and we can really see it now in this environment. The people who are the most dangerous and impossible to deal with are the people who've had literally no conflict. They've had it all handed to them, and they are, they have no tolerance for any. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. I'm like, motherfucker, your dad bought Harvard a gym. That's why you went there. You sucked at school. You were doing, Anyway,
bootstraps.
oh fucking,
come on.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I I tell kids all the time, I'm like, don't become a musician if you want money. Don't just get better at math. Don't be a douchebag and go to be a banker or something.
Yes,
you gotta eat shit for like at least 10 years.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, there's a lightning in a bottle and hit songs and stuff like that, but that's so rare.
Do people come up to you, like, oh, I saw you on America's Got Talent, and how did that work out? And do they get all like freaked out?
No, you know what? I was on a TV show 16 years ago.
Yeah,
Rockstar Supernova.
Supernova, yeah.
People were way more freaked out when they saw me after that because I was on TV for 3 solid months, and it was It was more reality based. Like AGT was like, all right, go sing, go, and you, and then when they aired my audition, there was no guarantee that I was gonna be aired at all. I was like, yeah, this is awesome. It was awesome to be invited to sing and audition, and I had a really great time. Thank you so much. And Simon and everyone said really nice things. And I was like, well, that's great. If that's all I get, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then they aired it, and then it kind of the internet melted, and then they were like, oh, well, you're in trouble, and so you got to be on this other part of the show. And then it was just really, that is a huge machine. That show is a massive machine.
I can't even imagine.
Rockstar, oh God, what's his name? Who's the producer of Rockstar? He's super powerful too, but he did a Survivor, The Apprentice. Rob, he's Australian.
I know who you're talking about. I've seen interviews with
Brian.
I've seen interviews with this guy a couple times.
Really smart, shrewd businessman. But
the machine's well oiled and running.
Well, he's that show and the other shows he had. It was a little more emotional because you got to know people a little more on his shows. I never watched The Apprentice, but we were on the same time as Trump, and we got all the really good what are they called, Nielsen ratings or something?
Yeah.
And every day Trump would be like, "Whoa, I got the #1 show." I'm like, "You don't, motherfucker, you do not.
You do not." Maybe with the ages of like 55 to 65 on a Tuesday.
Yeah, but it was that was I was more famous when I got off that show, and that was scary. Fame is not fun. I didn't ever wanted to be famous. I didn't think I was ever gonna make a dime, just get laid and have pizza and free beer. And make a bunch of noise, maybe one day be a better artist. But the fame thing was fucking really scary. And TV fame too is really weird. Like rock stars are up and big and lit and electrified and kind of apart.
Yeah.
So they're not necessarily like of terra firma, you know? But TV is in your house and it seems like it's just kind of free and you're just kind of there and
Right?
experiencing all of these.
You're free to participate or not.
Well, I mean, I have this friend who lives in New York and she's on General Hospital, if that's the thing still. I think it's General Hospital. And she said, I was walking with my 7-year-old and this woman and my character had, I guess, had an affair or something, and this woman walked up and spat on my shoe in front of my kid. Said, "How could you do that? You're a Lannister," or whatever the hell her name was. So there are people who just kind of.
That's like that old
all they
Friends
got.
episode when he played Drake Ramore. Joey played Drake Ramore on Days of Our Lives, and Brooke Shields played the stalker who thought he was really a doctor and followed him everywhere. I could see there's some people that could, I fall off the,
Well, and also reality TV, it really suspends.
Yeah.
Because you're not back. We weren't acting. I mean, they try to set up scenarios where
Sure.
we would have tension and applied tension, and hopefully something would happen. But it wasn't scripted, and so people really felt like they knew who we were.
Gotcha.
And so it died down after like a year, but I still have people. It's fun. It's like I couldn't believe that I got to be on TV again. I was like, do you know how old I am?
Some people just get your 15 minutes of fame or whatever and take it, and then get on there twice. I mean, that's
but I mean, honestly, it didn't. AGT was really cool while it was happening. It was a really cool experience, but it didn't really change much.
Mm-hmm.
My fans, I have a lot of fans who have been doing this a long time. They got actually kind of mad at the show. They were kind of not happy with the way.
Why'd they get mad? Because of the way you were portrayed?
They were saying, she's been waiting 30 long years under a bridge, waiting for someone to pull his dick out her mouth and say, hey, wait a minute, I think you're special. I actually could see you under all that sperm dripping off your hair. No, and I was never allowed to talk like that. So when they released me back into the wild, that's where I belong. That's kind of where I belong.
Yeah.
But it was a great experience.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, I know lots of people who have done similar shows and done things, and they all got the shit into the stick type of deal,
I'm sure if you go into it, see, I never went into any of these situations thinking I was. This is it. This is my big break. Because when people are like, how'd you know when you made it? I'm like, I haven't. I'm still making. You don't make it. I mean, the fact that I can pay my bills, that's pretty huge. The fact that I have food in my fridge and I can take time off and not freak out. But you just keep making. You don't. If you're just trying to make it, you make it, and then what?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Where are you going from there? Have you ever thought about maybe doing the stage stuff again, like the
theater?
Yeah, the theater stuff.
I was thinking of doing I was talking to Eric about this tonight because we watched some of the Beatles, the Jackson Beatles thing.
Yeah,
it's called I'll Let It Be. Get Back.
Is
it Get Back?
Get Back.
Yeah. And I was like, why is it? And have you seen Tales from the Tour Bus?
Bits and pieces. I haven't been able to sit and watch the whole thing.
Awesome. Watch George Clinton. Watch
God,
George so Clinton. Good. But anyway, Eric and I were like, why is it that when fucking TV people try to make a show about rock and roll, it's so wrong? It's like Spinal Tap was a joke and it was closer to reality than any of this bullshit. And then and so I was like, we need to just write. I mean, everybody, the fucking wildest, craziest shit about being in a rock band it almost never happens on stage. It's like what happens getting to the next gig, getting the gig, getting paid. It's fucking crazy. And truth is,
I would like to see something like that.
So I think what I want to do is write. I already wrote an autobiography, but it was kind of about mental illness and growing up the way I did. And but I think I'm gonna write a book about all the craziest shit and funnest shit and most beautiful shit and people I know and
all the good stuff.
And just sort of like sort of like what are those things called? Rock and roll touring for dummies kind of thing. Just like, don't be a dick to the flight attendants. They don't owe you shit. They don't care about your fucking song.
They don't care. I had one more question for you, and I kind of got sidetracked thinking about something else. But
That's okay.
just a name drop, Spinal Tap. I interviewed Christopher Guest back in like
Oh, man.
'92 at the Gavin
He is
seminar,
so intimate.
and got to
He's
see
really
Spinal
nice.
Tap, and he was like, "Come backstage,
Yeah.
come check it out." And I was expecting him to be like, "No."
No, he's really, really cool.
He's a cool guy.
I was in a play with Michael McKean,
Oh,
and
cool.
actually he's been trying to get me to learn this Pearl Jam song forever. We were doing a jukebox musical for Randy Newman, and so it was me, Michael, Katie Seagal, and it was really fun. And I got to hang out with Nigel forever. And when I met Christopher Guest, I was so intimidated. He was so quiet because there was one scene where Michael is singing a song to me, and I'm a stripper and I'm wearing like this little G-string and this little plastic bikini, and he's like berating me, like verbally assaulting me, and I'd always just be like, "Woo." And it was very awkward. It was kind of awkward, but it was yeah, those guys they're so funny and so smart, and they nail it.
Well, I'm glad we got a chance to talk. We were here a little earlier, and then you guys were doing
sorry.
your thing, and so
we weren't doing our Eric McFadden forgot his guitar, and so I had to go get his guitar because I'm the singer. The singer's supposed to be the flaky late drug addict, like cocaine up my ass. I'm like, I don't know who I am. I'm like, how did I have to go get me?
Well, I definitely appreciate the time you've taken to just sit and chat with us for a few minutes. And
I'm sorry. Cool. I'm sorry we're late, but it's Eric's fault. You want me to go get him?
Eric, come up here real quick. Eric, he'll come up here real quick. Hey, have a seat. We're out of time. We ran out of time, unfortunately. But just wanted to just say hi.
Well, hi there. Wait, are we saying hi? Am I on this thing?
Yes, we're doing a podcast.
Oh,
right
hi.
now.
I'm Eric. Good to see you. I didn't know
Eric McFadden. Now you've been around for a while. You played with a lot of great people.
Wait, what did you say?
She just keeps yelling, and she walks away and keeps
yelling
yelling
at me again.
So I got a few more minutes. I would just want to ask you a couple questions. So,
sure.
You played with a lot of great bands. P-Funk. I mean, that for me, that's one of the biggest influences for me.
I mean, P-Funk, what can you say about them? Well, you can say a lot about them, but we don't have time,
What
legendary, innovative, awesome,
Give us a quick story, just one little story, hanging out with Clinton and those guys. Like, anything good, like, running around in diapers, squirting each other with squirt guns or anything fun like that? Or, crazy shit?
There was a lot of that. No, there's, I don't even know. There's good stories and there's strange stories. I mean, going to Tunisia was interesting because we were late and there was a bunch of dignitaries and diplomats and government people there that were coming to see the show. And so they were stuffing us in these little vans and rushing us down the road, so not to be late. And a couple of the band's vans flipped over with a band member and crew in them. And that was terrifying. And
oh my God,
a couple of people got a little hurt and went to the hospital, but everyone was essentially okay. But it was such a freaky and scary thing getting there. But of course, knowing everyone was fine was great. And then it was just the most beautiful, incredible. They had like 75 courses of food.
You're like, whoa.
It looked like an alien landscape out there on the beach where we were staying. But anyway, I don't know. Cool. There's a lot of good stories.
A lot of traveling stuff.
Knows?
Just traveling all over the world.
George was. The traveling was insane. Some of these tours were like, do the States for 6 weeks, go to Europe for 4 weeks, go to Australia, go to Japan.
Yeah, just keep floating around.
There was no such thing as a time zone after that.
What are you up to nowadays? Do you have a new band?
Oh man, I've been doing some fun stuff. Well, I'm working on a new album, but this European label put out this all acoustic Alice Cooper tribute that I did, and then Kate Vargas and I have a group. And Kate Vargas, I don't know if you know her, one of the best songwriters of his generation and an amazing musician. So I played on her album, but we have a project called Sergeant Splendor, and that album's coming out in May.
Okay.
So it's Dave Schools on bass and Paulo Baldi on drums. Great band, And,
that's going to be hopping.
So yeah, the latest and most exciting thing is Sergeant Splendor with Kate Vargas.
Cool. Well, Eric McFadden, we got you for a couple minutes, so I appreciate you, taking time. Sorry we ran out of time earlier.
Well, we get to be here.
That's right.
Me and my old friend Storm playing for the 22nd year anniversary of Dante.
That's just awesome. That's awesome.
I could find something to complain about, but why bother? It's too good, right?
Well, we appreciate you and your career and what you've done, and of course, coming back to Dante's and rocking it out. That's pretty cool. So
Good to be here after a couple of years.
all right. Well, thank you, my friend, for stopping by, and we'll get you again soon. We'll get you in the studio or something, and I'd like to sit down for a little longer and chat.
All right. Well, you've got my number. You can get it from.
You got it. I'll get Frank. We'll get on it.
All right, man.
All right. Thanks, Eric.
Thanks.
All right, Eric McFadden, right here on the DTPDX live podcast. Good stuff, folks. Good stuff.